Most of us have tried to change our minds by just forcing them, right? We use discipline, we fight our thoughts, we try to ride these waves of motivation. But what if that whole approach is just wrong? What if there's an ancient way to change that doesn't use force at all, but something much, much quieter? Let's get into it.
So this really is the big question, isn't it? Why is it that when we try to wrestle our mind into place, it almost always snaps back? Sure, it might work for a few days, maybe even a week if we're lucky, but then we slide right back into the old ways. And I want to be clear, this is not a personal failure, it's a strategic one.
And you can really see the two paths laid out right here. On one side, you've got the common method we all try. It's all about force, willpower, fighting, and it always, always ends in frustration. But then look at the other side. This ancient law is built on totally different stuff. Gentle repetition, awareness, and just returning. It's not about conflict, it's about creating order. Which brings us to what I like to call the willpower trap. See, we've been taught our whole lives that willpower is the secret sauce for change, but we're about to see how it's actually the very thing that's been holding us back. This is the default setting for pretty much everyone. We treat our minds like some kind of enemy that needs to be beaten. We set these super rigid rules, get mad at ourselves the second we get distracted, and then just hope some magical burst of motivation will see us through. And we all know how this movie ends, don't we? Force just creates resistance. The mind naturally pushes back. And the moment that initial motivation wears off, snap. It goes right back to what's familiar and comfortable. It's just a completely exhausting and unsustainable cycle. Okay, so if brute force doesn't work, what does? Well, the answer isn't some new age hack. It's ancient. We find it in the teachings of incredible sages like Ramana Maharshi and in the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. There's actually a great story behind this quote. A seeker comes to the sage Ramana Maharshi totally frustrated, and he says, "The more I try to control my mind, the more it just runs away from me." And Ramana's advice was so simple it was radical. He said, "Don't fight it. Each time it wanders, just gently bring it back. No anger, no force, just return." And get this exact same idea was revealed thousands of years earlier, when the warrior Arjuna was complaining to Krishna that the mind is restless, turbulent, impossible to control. Krishna actually agreed with him, but he said it can be mastered, not by fighting it, but by practice. Wherever the mind wanders, just bring it back, again and again and again. So how on earth does this actually work? Well, this isn't just a nice philosophy. It's a real practical technique for rewiring the actual pathways in your brain. It's all about creating new mental grooves. I want you to think of your mind like a field of soft earth. Your thoughts are like rainwater. Over time, they carve out these little channels, or grooves. Whatever you think about again and again, those grooves get deeper, and your thoughts just automatically flow down those same paths. But here's the crucial part. You can carve new ones. So every single time your mind wanders off to that old, unhelpful pattern, that worry, that distraction, whatever it is, and you gently guide it back, you are literally taking energy away from that old groove. You're letting it slowly start to fill in. And at the exact same moment, you're strengthening a new center. Every time you return, it's like you're digging a new desired pathway, just a little bit deeper, making it easier and more natural for your thoughts to flow there the next time. See? You're training your mind, not defeating it. All right, so theory is great, but how do we actually do this? The Gita calls this kind of focused practice a pas, and there's a super simple way to apply it, starting with a 21-day commitment. Okay, this is the simple blueprint. Step 1, pick one time every single day. That consistency is what builds the habit. Step 2, choose one simple anchor. It could be your breath, a simple phrase, anything. Now, step 3 is the absolute key. When your mind wanders, and trust me, it will, you just guide it back. No drama, no judging yourself. And finally, step 4, consistency over intensity. Seriously, 5 minutes every single day is way more powerful than one long, hour-long session once a week. So why 21 days? Well, it seems to be about how long it takes for the mind to start recognizing this new anchor as its sort of home base. It's not a magic number, but it is a really powerful milestone where that new pattern starts to feel less like work and more like second nature. Over time, this incredibly simple practice leads to a huge shift in how you feel inside. You're basically moving from being untrained and reactive to what Krishna called yukta, a state of real balance and integration. So what is yukta? It's not about having a perfectly silent mind. It's about being less reactive. It's that little bit of space you suddenly find between something happening and how you respond to it. Your awareness gets stronger, and those impulses and desires just get a little quieter. You haven't fought them. You've just built a stronger place to operate from. So this brings us to the most important point. If you take just one thing away today, please let it be this. All those times you tried to change a habit or a way of thinking and you felt like you failed, you were not failing.
You were simply untrained. You were just using the wrong tools for the job. You were trying to fight a war when what you really needed was to practice a skill, the quiet, patient, gentle skill of just returning.
And so the final question really is for you. Your mind is going to become whatever you repeatedly return to. It's going to follow the grooves that you carve, day in and day out. So knowing that change isn't about some big burst of motivation, but about this gentle, consistent practice, what will you choose to remember?